Okay guys, let's take a look at VEX 10 and VEX 75, and the broker that I use is in the pinned comments. You can just sign up with them, and we also have a free group whereby you can just join and get free setups, guys. So we are on the 4-hour time frame on VEX 75, and as you can see, we are creating that structure whereby we are creating highs, low, a high, a low, a high, low, a high, and then this is an overall uptrend, and then we are just looking for buying opportunities, unless if you want to take like a counter trend, of which it's not ideal for anyone to take that, just because the market can just continue pushing up. Let's say maybe you're looking for sales into areas of interest, then the market decides to push to the upside whenever you are in those selling opportunities, guys. So as you can see from this point here, we had a break of structure showing us that the market is pushing up, breaking the previous high. So after breaking the previous high, obviously we know that there is like a new high that's gonna form up, and then we expect a pullback creating a lower high. Then we have a new higher high just like that. So let me draw out like the breaks of structures. So this is another break of structure right around here. And then if we just look at like the previous structures on the lower time frame, that is where I basically refine everything. So let's say maybe this is your demand zone here, then we had a break, then the market pulled back into an area of interest. So I have my charts a bit dark, guys, today, just because I don't want to hurt my eyes whenever I'm done with my trading. My eyes always like are chilly, guys, so I don't want that. So that is why I have like my charts dark. And then tell me if like you're not seeing like anything, and then if like they're okay, just comment with like okay, the charts are okay, something like that. So as you can see here, we pushed up high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So now we have a new break of structure. So what I'm anticipating is for the market to pull down into this area of interest around here. As you can see, I don't see any imbalance, of which I'm just gonna refine everything on the lower time frame so that I can get to understand where we are going to buy from these areas here, so that we can take the market up into this area of interest around here. So I think I've explained so much on the higher time frame. We can just move over to the 1 hour and refine our supply demand zones, guys, né? Our demand zones. So what I like to do is I like to see like a demand zone whereby it's not mitigated. Let's say maybe around here we had a mitigated area, that would be like an invalid supply or demand zone. But like I would like to see that in all my charts, guys, whenever I'm drawing out like my supply and demand. And another thing is like having an imbalance or a fair value gap is very nice whenever you have your supply and demand, or your order block, however you call it, guys, nah? So as you can see here, we had a pullback into this area, then I refined it to this one here. But like on the 15 minute, that is where I'm going to further refine everything. And then as you can see from this point, we had this area of demand around here, of which it was not it was not like mitigated at that 50% level, just because this has like a 50% level. It's a 0, it's your 1, it's a 0.5, and then this is called the GAN box, guys. Now you can just get your GAN box and then set it up in this type of fashion. But like if you want me to do like a video specifically on the GAN box, I'll just do that. So moving over to the 15 minute, I'll also refine like the current market structure right there. So as you can see here, we have the structures, and then we can just zoom in into this price action here. Then you can obviously see that this should be an area of interest around here. It was not mitigated. As you can see, we had a buy to sell around here. This would be the order block, and then it was mitigated very nicely. The market pushed up. So here we can just look at the previous one. Let me just check on this one here. So I'm showing you how to draw order blocks, guys, just because this is an important concept. If you don't understand order blocks, then you have a problem. So as you can see here, we had your buy to sell, of which it's this one here, and then it was not mitigated. It's very nicely put around that point. So if you zoom in, then you can obviously see that the market tapped into it and then bought very nicely, guys. So around here, this is where I'll be expecting the same setup to happen. As you can see here, we have like a few areas of demand. This is the first one. As you can see, But like, let me just use like the Fibonacci tool, just because it can be a bit tricky whenever I'm not using the Fibonacci tool. So from the low to the high, just because you're looking for buying opportunities, so from the low to the high, you can obviously draw out like your areas of interest right now. So as you can see here, we didn't have like any mitigation. We had a buy to sell, so this is a valid order block around here, just like that. Let me just zoom it in. Okay, so we have the first order block. Then I'll just remove this thing here. Then if we pull down, you can obviously see that we had a fair value gap around at this point here, which, like I said, a fair value gap is very nice, guys. It acts like a magnet when it comes to the market. The market will just push to that imbalance and then fill it up before moving in our original direction. So you have the second one here. Then moving lower, you can obviously see that we have another one, of which it's this one here. So moving lower again, you can obviously see that this is a fair value gap around there, and then we had a mitigation of all these areas here up until this one here, guys. Now up until this one here, so this one was not mitigated, so I'm just gonna leave this one here out, just because we already have like three, of which it's the maximum that I like to use. So what I'll be waiting for is for the market to get into this first order block. Let's say maybe the first order block, just because each and every order block here has to be mitigated, just because the first one does not have like any imbalance, but like the second one has the imbalance, and the third one. So what I'll be looking for on the first one and the second one would be a market structure shift, just like this. If we get this market structure shift around this point, that is when I'll be looking for my buying opportunities. And then same on the second one, I'll be looking for this formation to happen. But like when it comes to the third one, that is when I'll just be looking for longs around here. Sorry about that. Let's see. So I'll be looking for longs around here. It seems like my risk to reward tool is all over the place. So the target should be green, and let me just make it blue, just because it's a bit bright. So as you can see right there, so I'll be looking for buys around this area here, stops just below this area, and I'll be targeting this high here. So this is how I'll be looking at VIX 75 like today. I think today, just because the market is always moving when it comes to drive, there's no way that we can just close up and then let's say maybe we'll see it after a few days, just because it's already Thursday and I trade on a weekend, guys. When it comes to trading, I keep on trading each and every day. So let me just look at VIX 10. VIX 10 was a bit tricky also, but like, you know, price action, guys. So on the 4-hour time frame, you can obviously see that we are pushing down. We're pushing down. There's no need for me to look at the previous structures. So as you can see here, we have your break of structure, the BOS. Let me just do this, the BOS right there, pushing down. And guys, drive is very nice. When it comes to supply and demand, you can just trade supply and demand on drive, and then you're going to make money. So as long as you know the concept that you're using. So around here, we also have a fair value gap. Then after even the fair value gap at the top, we have the supply zone here, of which it was mitigated very nicely, guys. So let me just do this so that I can just write out the IMB right there, of which it stands for imbalance. Then after even the imbalance, we had the break of structure again, showing us that the market is still in a downtrend. So after even that, you can obviously see that we push down, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, and then the market pulled back into this area here of imbalance. So that is why I'm saying that whenever there is like an imbalance in the market, it always gets filled. So around there, we got to fill that imbalance, and then here we have your break of structure around this point. Then we had another one around this point here, and don't forget that the previous high is still protected, just because highs should be protected whenever you're looking for selling opportunities. This high is still protected, as you can see. And then we have this extreme supply zone around this area here, of which it was not mitigated, just because we had another fair value gap around there. So you can just refine it to this order block here. use like the whole candle, just because there are a lot of candles here, and we tapped into it. Then that is when we sold off. And as you can see here, we had a new break of structure, which this is not considered a break of structure, but like if we extend it, you'll already see that we broke structures around here. We pulled back into an area of interest, let's say maybe around here. Thing is around here or around this point here, but like we pulled into an area of interest. So after having that break of structure, we expect what to get like those nice selling opportunities on vex 10, guys. Now, so after even this break, we also had another break of structure, of which it's this one here. So we had like multiple breaks of structures. So currently I'm looking at this price action here, whereby we had to fill this imbalance, of which it's currently being filled by the price action. And then at the top of the structure, we need to look for our buy to sell candle, of which it's this one here. So we're just going to use the whole candle. And now we are anticipating what, for us to get like those nice selling opportunities at the top of that structure. So we're just gonna look at the 15-minute time frame just to refine like all the zones that we have. So around this point, let me just zoom out. So let me just check. So it seems like we have like an equal high area around here. So these are equal highs, and we can just zoom out into this price action here. Let me just check. So yeah, it seems like this is your area of supply around that point, and then we are just waiting for it to get like mitigated, and then whenever it gets mitigated, that is when we are going to look for our selling opportunities. So let me just zoom out, just because there are areas that need to be filled, as we already know. So I'm gonna remove that one. As you can see here, we still have a fair value gap. So this fair value gap here, and then this supply zone around this point here. So that is the extreme supply zone when it comes to this overall trade idea here. So I'm just gonna wait and see what's gonna happen, just because we can mitigate into this area here. So we can just do this, whereby we mitigate into this point here. So we pull up, tap into it, get a change of character, then that is when we get those nice selling opportunities up until this area here. But like if we don't get this shift, we are just gonna wait for the market to just tap into this one, and then we look for ourselves. So I think I've explained most of the things, and if you didn't understand, you can just drop a comment and tell me what you didn't understand, guys. But like keep on waiting for them to tap into areas of interest. So we can just extend this one, as you can see, and then extend this one. You can see that this is the other blocks that I was talking about, and then this one here was invalid around here. It was invalid, as you can see, just because this is not an area whereby the market wants to sell from, just because there is an imbalance here. There's also an imbalance around that point right there, guys. So yeah, I'll see you on another video. Peace and love.